Hey guys, back again with the same click spring and wheel I've been playing with. I wasn't really happy with how it finished up. I wasn't sure it would work reliably, so I still been studying it some more. I haven't put the clock back together. And one of my YouTube viewers, D Perry 428, left me a comment and a link to one of his videos, so I've been checking that out. So let's see what we figured out for today. So I put the wheel in like so with nothing else in it to just spin it and see how straight everything was. And this is the one I haven't worked on, and it's pretty straight, you can tell when you spin it. But at one point you can see this outside part flare. And that is because of the way the click is. The ratchet part is actually sitting on top of the click. And on the other one it wasn't. The click is going all the way to the bottom. On the other one it wasn't. They drilled the holes in different places. I'll show you. So on this one that was working properly for 100+ years, you can see they started a little hole right there, but they didn't use it. They used a hole down there. So there's a little divot right there in line with the edge of this, but they moved it down probably 2 millimeters, and it's on this arm. This one is up here. The little arm is narrower. They couldn't drill it, I guess. They put it up here. So the problem with the click started when they decided where to drill that hole, because then the end of the click wasn't seating all the way down to the bottom of the gear and was hitting part way up on here and hitting and starting to beat on this and gouge it out from the get-go. So this click is long. This click that I put on is longer. It does go all the way to the bottom even though the hole is higher. So that was a good choice there. But in studying these, I've had a lot of problem with the little wire, keeping it together, putting it in the right spot where it would hold everything just right. The hole is here and the click is over here, so you put the wire through and you bend it, and so I'm always referring to the one that worked right to see how they did it. The hole is drilled through here. The wire is bent to put pressure right over where the click is. These aren't just spun around into an S and tight where it's wobbly everywhere. They put extra pressure to keep that side down. But you'll see that this one rides on the click and the other one did not. It rode under the click. But now that it has had the bigger click on, I had to file on the rivet and make sure that it would pass, because it was hanging up on me sometimes. Sometimes it was riding on top of the rivet and sometimes it would ride beside the rivet. So that got me looking at this. And I would test this and it's flat. It's not bent. Excuse me. I have to get something to drink. Got a tickle. So once I was happy with that this was always passing the rivet and not getting bound up on it, well, it helps if you put it on the right way, Cheryl. I noticed that it doesn't always click the same. Sometimes I get a good click sound. Sometimes it kind of bogs down. Always in the same area, right before the damaged one. The click sound disappears. So I had tried adjusting my little wire that was holding this, making sure it had the right amount of clearance. It made me start measuring, and I got my calipers out and I was measuring this gap in here and finding out that it wasn't the same everywhere. It's the biggest right here where I have it marked. Where it got wider, it let the click come forward and slide off of the little gear teeth, and that's what eventually wore it out and let it be torn up. So I thought, okay, this one's, it's wider in here. This one, I can't really measure if this one's flat. I can lay this on a flat surface and see that this side is nice and flat. So this side must be bent up in the air, I figured. So I thought I was going to tap it down. But if you measure the overall width, it's much wider. 7.14 on the side opposite of where it's real wide. 7.45. So significantly wider. So it's not the gap that's the problem. It's not that it's bent forward. It's how they put it together. This side's been tapped down more. It's pinched together more on this side, pulling that side apart some. And it was apart just wide enough that it made a difference in this wheel. Also, when it, I don't know if I did it when I worked on it last time and noticed that this was a little loose and maybe bent the wire to tighten it, but the wire was not bent towards here. It was bent more over here, so that was letting more play be over the click. So when I put this back together, I will make sure that the end of the wire is putting pressure out here. And you can see there's a little ring worn on here where this turns around. The whole wire doesn't contact it. The hole that the wire goes through is up a little bit to keep the whole wire from rubbing on there. So you bring it out and bend it down, and the tip of the wire is what puts pressure to hold this at the right distance. There's more play side to side on these, and so that might make you think, okay, the arbor's worn and that you need to put a bushing in there and prevent that play. But the whole working action is right here. Nope, wrong side. Right here over the click. And there's just a tiny bit of end shake that's going to be required to let it all work right. Oop, you're not on camera. There's a tiny bit of end shake on this one. So it's doing what it's supposed to do. There's more end shake side to side because you don't have a wire over here. And this one is not as tight. This is the main important one. So, with that being said, since the overall width of this side is wider than that side, I'm going to try to push on where they've riveted this side of it. I'm hesitant to take it apart because this is a hexagonal piece in here. It's not a single brass bushing that's easy to find. It's a hexagon shaped one, and then you have to put a flange on the end and everything. So I haven't like sanded this out, tapped it apart, and worked on this ring because I have limited machinist skills. I have a lathe, I have some tools. I'm definitely not proficient at working on big things. So I'm going to do what I can to try to replace it without taking this apart. I mean, to fix it without taking it apart. So I'm going to peen this side over more to pinch this down more and make it equal to what the other side is. And that way when it passes, it won't have the extra force. Because it was wider, it was forcing the whole piece away from the click and letting the click fall forward in front of it because there just wasn't as much room for it to pass. So let's see what happens. Managed to get it down to 0.29, 0.3 on this thicker side. 0.35, 0.24, 0.30. So I've got it equal. 0.16, still a little 0.2, 0.28. So it's not exactly the same all the way around. 0.35, 0.33, 0.27, 0.34. So I'm happy with how I got 0.2, 2/10 of a millimeter off down, narrower. And I also discovered the click was binding some. If you tap your rivet really good, it actually pushes this toward this wall, which is what you want. You want it to seat deep in that wall. But if there is a 2/10 of a millimeter thickness, it's going to bind in that area. So that is going to cause it to push off of there and cause that damage. So I think I've got it where it sounds the same all the way around. Got good click action, got seating good. I can go backwards on every single click and it holds. Damage click holds. So this is like the most sloppily made part of the whole cuckoo clock. Everything is precision, measured out, exact, and then they put this together and it's not even the same distance all the way around. So anyway, that's why there's got to be a little bit of end shake. When you put the pin on there, it's got to be able to move a little bit for areas where they're not exactly the same. But I'm happy with how this has come out so far. I think that I will be able to put the wire back in there and put some weight on it, put it between the plates with 1 or 2 other gears in there and just see how it acts. I hope this has helped somebody else that's having issues with a click. Leave me some comments. A couple things I did not mention. I did check my, if your click should swing around easily. Make sure it's moving freely. If you've tapped this too tightly and it's not moving, it's not going to click good. You want a little bit of end play, just like in everything else, a little end shake on there. But I didn't mention putting a little oil on there. And a little oil on here. Some people use grease. I don't have any grease. Just dragging a tiny bit of oil. I did file these smooth because if they're rubbing on here, if there's a lip of brass sticking out on this little piece right here, it's gonna, as it got beat up and deformed and it pushed the little ridge of brass out this way, that's going to hold it away from this plate. That's going to encourage the click to fail. So let's get it back around one more time. Good sound, good feel, good movement. Nothing hanging up, nothing binding. And good catch even on the bad one. Alright, so anyway, this has not been fun. I don't like this kind of stuff. I like for it to go smoothly, but anyway, it's just time, right? Days I'll never get back again. Thanks for watching, guys.